Are there guests in the room? If there are, I get the permission, because there are guests there, to explain who we are. Toastmasters, how long we've been around. Please ask this question. So in preparing your explanation of your role, you can have two options. One where there are no guests in the room, so you don't have to waste time explaining who we are, what we do. One where there are guests in the room. You have to have that flexibility. The Toastmaster of the day, you are the meeting director. You are the host of the meeting. You are the one responsible for having a conducive environment at that particular meeting. It may sound like a lot, but with time, you'll get used to it. What this means is, if certain segments go long, it means you're going to have to cut other segments short. If certain segments are short, then you can extend other segments. Let me give an example. If we have prepared speeches and table topics, prepared speeches we're supposed to have 3, but only 2 speakers show up. It means we have about 5 to 7 minutes, depending on how long that last speech was supposed to be. You can add that time to the table topics. But if the segments before table topics go way longer than they ought to, then you may have to reduce table topics from maybe 5 to 2, depending on how much time you need. You are paying attention to the entire agenda, the timing for all the segments, so you know if we are on time, if we are earlier than we should be, or if we are later than we should be. You as the meeting director, you are responsible for that. Prepare this before the meeting. What else should you do? Please remind all team members, show up early. Minimum, in my opinion, 15 minutes before the meeting. If it's physical or hybrid, for those that will be there physically, especially for those of us in Lagos, I don't know about other states, but here, anything can happen traffic-wise. You don't want excuses. Prepare to be there early. Show up early. You can engage with members. You can engage with guests. You can familiarize yourself with the speaking area and settle in to deliver your best speech or play your best role for that day. Not on time, early. Just remind your team to do that. All this you do before the meeting. Now, at the meeting, what do you do? When you show up early, whether it's virtual, physical, please engage with people. As the host, you want to ensure people are comfortable. If we have guests, you can tell them who we are, or connect them with another executive or member that will engage them. Remember, when you go to somewhere for the first time, you don't always know what is acceptable and what is not. You may feel very awkward, you may feel shy, until someone comes up, makes you feel comfortable, introduces you to someone, maybe give you the rules. And once they tell you this is acceptable, this is not, then you can easily blend in. As the host, try and be the one to make them feel comfortable and encourage other people to do that before the meeting. You also need to confirm with the General Evaluator if all their team members are around. If people are not there before the meeting starts, please get a replacement. And if you can clearly see we're starting late, announce to the room, everyone available, physically or virtually, that we're going to start late before the meeting starts. If we are to start at 1 p.m. and it's already 12:45, and from the looks of things, maybe phone calls or things are not set up, you know we're going to start around 1:15. At that time, tell everyone available, I apologize, we're not going to start on time. If you can give them a concrete time, we're starting at 1:15, go ahead. If you can't, that's fine. Before the meeting starts time. This shows respect. Please do that. Now, as the meeting starts, Sergeant at Arms, President, yourself, you come, you explain your role. You can give rules. If the Sergeant at Arms didn't give all the rules that you wanted, if there are guests available because you asked, then you let them know who we are, Toastmasters, what we do. If there are no guests, you just inform everyone about the different segments we're going to go through. And then you introduce the General Evaluator. General Evaluator handles introducing their team before giving you back control. When you come back, if we have prepared the speech first, you call up the first speech evaluator to tell us the objectives of the first speech after introducing them, and then you introduce the first speaker. And you continue like that till all speakers have delivered their speeches. Then you go to the next segment, table topics, introduce the table topics master, who handles the table topics segment of the meeting before giving you back control. After that is done, you now hand control back to the general evaluator, who anchors the evaluation portion of the meeting. When evaluation is done, the general evaluator will give you back control, and you will now conclude the meeting before giving control back to the president, who wraps up everything and ends the meeting officially. After the meeting, because you lead a team, simply appreciate your team members. You can do it physically, thanking them there. You can give them a phone call. You can send messages. You can send a voice note. Appreciate people. Why? You want them to play these roles again. You want them to give speeches, and you want them to do it better. Appreciation goes a long way. Note, while the meeting was going on, the entire time, you're going to be looking at the agenda, see where we are in terms of time, and compare it to ensure that we are where we ought to be. If time is well spent, then you have to cut other segments short. If we have saved a lot of time, you can increase other segments, particularly table topics. If you're in a club where you vote for the best speaker for prepared speeches, once all speakers are done, please get the timing report from the timer. If anyone does not keep to time, you let the audience know we cannot and will not be voting for these people because they went beyond the allotted time. Do the same thing for table topics. If the club you are serving as the Toastmaster of the day, they are voting for the best table topic speaker. Ask the timer, please, can you give us the timing report? If anyone did not keep to time, you let the audience know we are not going to be voting for these people because they did not keep to time. We can only vote for those who kept to time. Voting occurs. At the end, the president will give the awards for the winners, or if you're in a club where it's the Toastmaster of the day who is responsible for that, you will give the awards for the winners at the end before giving the president control again to officially end the meeting. In summary, that is what you get to do as the Toastmaster of the day at any meeting. Does anyone have any questions or comments for this role? You can raise your hand if you have questions, or you can send a message to the chat and your question will be attended to. Is there any question or comment? I don't see any hands. Okay, Toastmaster Kelvin, please go ahead.
Thank you, Toastmaster John. I want to mention this, or maybe it's just a personal preference. I've noticed most Toastmaster of the day who host the meeting that I enjoy the most are the ones that tend to infuse comedy or some form of humor in their meeting. What's your thoughts on that? And would you advise people to do that often?
Thank you so much for that comment and question, Toastmaster Kelvin. Regardless of what you're doing, humor is a plus. I played the role of MC at a funeral, and I infused humor during a funeral, and they loved it. When you are playing the role of Toastmaster of the day, if you can infuse humor, by all means, go ahead. But note, the Toastmaster of the day, you are not the highlight for the meeting. Others are. But by infusing humor, you get to engage people more, and that's okay. But if you don't think you're funny, I don't want you to run away. If you don't think you're funny, it does not mean I should stay away from playing the role of Toastmaster of the day. You can still help guide people through the meeting, as well as ensure we keep to time collectively for the entire meeting, and that people thoroughly get as much as they can during the meeting. So yes, if you can, by all means, humor is a plus in any part of life, especially those parts where boring is the norm. Thank you so much for that question. Appreciate it. Okay. I thought it was the SAA that will announce that a meeting will start late. If that is the responsibility of the SAA at your club, that's fine. The primary host is the Toastmaster of the day for Toastmasters meeting, generally speaking. But as I said, if that's how it works at your club, that's okay. Toastmaster Kudus, I assume. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir, you assume right. Good evening, sir, and thank you very much for the engaging session. So I just want to ask the coordination between the Toastmaster of the day and the timer, knowing fully well that the timer, the general evaluator is who is the team lead for the timer, and how can the Toastmaster of the day um, actually make sure that he carry the timer along all throughout the meeting, because I've seen meetings where the Toastmaster they keep going back to the timer to say, please, this next person, let's just use 2 minutes, and he keeps doing that throughout the meeting.
Thank you so much for that question. Toastmaster Lazarus, please, can you type your question? Because this is the last question we can cater to so that we actually finish by 9:30. You can type your question. Apologies for that. Toastmaster Kudo's beautiful question. How can the Toastmaster of the day coordinate with the timer? The Toastmaster of the day is not supposed to be coordinating with the timer. Toastmaster of the day will coordinate with the General Evaluator. You don't go and tell the timer, please make it 3 minutes or 5 minutes or 2 minutes. If you want to change anything with the timing, you say it from the stage. What you should do, let's say the sessions are going too long, you can step in, and someone that is supposed to have ended at 7 minutes and you're still speaking by 9 minutes, you can either send them a message if it's virtual, send them a written note, or you may have to step in and say, would appreciate if you can give your conclusion. You are well beyond the allotted time. If that entire segment is going too long because someone is speaking, same thing. If they have gone too long, then you want to shorten table topics. You inform the table topics master. Madam Table Topics Master, you can only take 2 speakers. This whole time, you're not communicating with the timer. There's no point, I mean, it may happen, don't get me wrong, but you do not need to communicate with the timer to change the flow of the meeting. You communicate with those in charge of those segments or the general evaluator. You should not be telling timer, give them 1 minute, give them 2 minutes. No. Does that make things clear, Toastmaster Kudus?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
You're very much welcome. Please, if you have any questions for Toastmaster of the day, you can type it or wait till 9:30 when we're done to ask your question, because we need to cover the second role. And the second role is the role of General Evaluator. The General Evaluator is the other role player that also leads a team. The team led by the General Evaluator are all evaluators. Who are the evaluators at a meeting? Speech evaluators, table topics evaluators, timer, counter, grammarian. If you have joke master like some clubs have, not many, that's an evaluator. Listening evaluator, anyone that evaluates anything at a meeting, they are led by the general evaluator. And I'll separate your responsibilities into 3 segments as well: before the meeting, during the meeting, after the meeting. Before the meeting, reach out to those team members that you don't know the pronunciation of their names just to get it. I recommend asking for a voice note. If you have not worked with them before, you can also confirm that they know what they're doing. If you have, you don't have to. For those that you know, these people know how to play that role, they are good to go. Before the meeting, prepare explanation of your role as a general evaluator. Simply, you pay attention to everything that transpires from the beginning to the end. You give feedback on what was done well and areas of improvement. That's a summary, but you prepare it the way you deem fit. It's a speech: introduction, body, conclusion. Short, within the timeline, which means get a copy of the agenda. look at what the agenda states. How much time is allotted for you when you're going to come in? Very important, because different meetings have different formats, and you don't want to get there and you're confused. Oh, I didn't know it was my time now. No, you should have studied the agenda if it is sent out on time. And for those VPEs here, or if you're playing the role of Toastmaster, then it's your responsibility. Please do all you can to send the agenda out on time, because the role players, especially those leading teams, work based on what is on the agenda. General Evaluator, please see what is there. Also, let your team members know they should show up early. I recommend minimum of 15 minutes before the meeting, because the Toastmaster of the day, the GE, they need to ensure role players are there. And if they are not, they have to get replacements to take up the responsibility of those roles. At least, once again, 15 minutes before the meeting. That's my recommendation. Get there early, engage with people, see if there's any last minute thing that needs to be sorted. If some people are feeling uncomfortable, just encourage them. We're all here to learn. The meeting starts. You, as the general evaluator, you're already paying attention to everything that is going on, even before the meeting started. And you're taking notes, things that are done well, things that are not done well. Meeting starts, the sergeant at arms starts it, hands over to the president, hands over to Toastmaster of the day, then gives you control. You would now explain your role as a general evaluator and introduce your team members: timer, accounter, grammarian. They will hand control back to you once they're done explaining their roles, and you will now hand control back to the Toastmaster of the day. This entire time, you're taking notes. What is being done well? Areas of recommendation. The meeting goes on, prepared speeches, table topics, until the evaluation portion of the meeting. Once control is handed to you, you will call up either the prepared speech evaluators, if that segment came first, or the table topics evaluator, if that came first. And whichever one comes first, the other one will come after that. Before you go to your core team members, you then introduce them. They deliver their reports: timer, accountant, grammarian, based on what is on the agenda. And then you give your final evaluation, the general evaluation of the entire meeting. By the way, let me post this here. There's a general evaluation checklist, and I want to put it here. For those of you that are new to Toastmasters, and even for some of the older ones, you may never have really looked at this. I have just put in the chat. You can download the General Evaluators checklist. It's also on Toastmasters International. That's where I got it from. It gives you a list of things that you should look out for, right from the role players to the meeting setup. You are not responsible for giving feedback to the speakers. You are responsible for giving feedback to role players and looking at the entire meeting. All those things are listed there. For those of you that are new to Toastmasters, if you're interested in playing the role of General Evaluator, you can go through the checklist and learn what you pay attention to, ask questions. When is this considered good? When is this considered an area for improvement? That will really help. For those of you that have been here for a while, the checklist will help you know what you should give feedback on. Very important. If you've never looked at it before, it's in the chat box. Please download it, or go to Toastmasters International, download, go through it, especially when you're playing the role of General Evaluator. Once you give your final reports using the CRC, commend, recommend, commend, you then hand control back to the Toastmaster of the day. He concludes, gives control to the president, who ends the meeting. When the meeting is done, your responsibility for the meeting concluded. However, the final part after the meeting, I always recommend, if you are leading a team, I don't care what type of team it is, once people do what they are supposed to, please appreciate them. Why? Two reasons. One, you want them to come back and play the role again or give speeches. In this case, you're not responsible for the speakers. So in this case, play the role again. And two, you want them to come back better. Just a word of encouragement, a gesture of encouragement can do those two things. Whenever you lead a team, find ample opportunities to appreciate them. For the general evaluator after the meeting, either calling, sending a message, sending a voice note, whatever format you desire, appreciate your team members. In summary, that is what you do as the general evaluator. Once again, the checklist, please go through it and see what you are supposed to give feedback on. I think it's quite comprehensive. There may be a few things that are not there, but a lot of it is actually there in the checklist. Please go through it. That is what the general evaluator does. Does anyone have a question or a comment? You can raise your hand or send a message in the chat. Okay, for GE. Toastmaster Lazarus, I'll still answer your question on Toastmaster of the Day. I saw that it dropped. Toastmaster Kelvin says, question, are you playing the role as GE? Speakers are not part of your purview, but you notice a portion. Okay, you are playing, excuse me, the role of GE. Speakers are not part of your purview, but you notice a portion of a speech from a speaker that the speech evaluator did not cover. Do you point it out? Toastmaster Kelvin, great question. I don't think there's a need. If it's something that you think would be really useful to everyone, and it must be starkly glaring, I don't think there's a need. You can speak to them one-on-one. The thing about evaluation is evaluators are given from their perspective based on their competence. If the GE is going to give feedback because evaluators omitted certain aspects of the speech, virtually every meeting that you have a really skilled general evaluator, every speaker will get feedback from the general evaluator. So there's no need to give feedback because the evaluators omitted something from the evaluation. It's going to happen. It happens consistently. Focus on what's your priority. And if you think it's something that will be very useful to the speaker after the meeting, by all means, go one-on-one and let them know, oh, I observed this. I think this might assist. This worked for me. That would be great. But I don't think there's a need to do that from the stage during the meeting. Thank you so much for that question. Is there anyone else that has a question for the role of general evaluator? I don't see any hands up, and I don't see any messages in the chat for the role of general evaluator. Toastmaster Favor, I don't know if that's an error. You unmuted, muted, unmuted. If you have a question, you can go ahead. And if your device is not letting you unmute, you can type the message in the chat box and we'll attend to it. While I wait for that, I'm going to attend to Toastmaster Lazarus's question. I was in a meeting where we were not doing well with time. The GE and not the Toastmaster of the Day intervened and cut short the table topic session. Is this appropriate? Thank you so much for that question, Toastmaster Lazarus. Ideally, the Toastmaster of the Day is the one responsible for that. The general evaluator is in charge of evaluation, which means as much as it might pain the general evaluator, unless maybe the Toastmaster of the Day asks for some reason that the general evaluator cuts in, the general evaluator is not there to come and amend the time for segments. General evaluator is just taking notes that this part is going really long. However, what tends to happen, maybe somebody more experienced and they feel they should cut in. But in terms of your role, is the Toastmaster of the Day. Now, what the GE should do that will be more appropriate is speak to the Toastmaster of the Day and let them know this is going long, you need to step in. Not that the GE steps in themselves. That was a fantastic question. Thank you so much for that. You are welcome, Toastmaster Jamila. It is now 9:30. Officially, we are done. I want to say thank you to everyone that joined. Hopefully, you got something that was useful. I'll encourage you, if you've not played these roles because you've been running away from them, you are exactly the person that needs to play these roles. You learn many skill sets by playing the role of Toastmaster of the Day or General Evaluator. They are not difficult, but they do need to be played a lot before you get comfortable with them. And if you have played these roles, but you keep running away from them, please play them. Play them. We are here to learn by doing. When you get information, you've not learned everything. Most of it is learned by execution. So play those roles. And the goal of doing is to master, not just to do. Mastery comes by repetition, meaning do it a lot. When you do that, you get to master it. Once you've done that, you can now stack more skills on that. So I highly recommend that you play one of these two roles, Toastmaster of the Day or General Evaluator. You are very much welcome, Toastmaster Rakia. Is there anyone else that has a question? Toastmaster of the Day, GE, we're officially done. You can leave, go and enjoy the rest of your night, rest of your weekend. And if you have a question on something else outside the scope of what we covered tonight, this is the time where you can ask those questions. Toastmaster Kudus, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much, Toastmaster John. Yeah, I think we spoke about humor the other time, about how to infuse humor. And I've seen many people say, oh, they don't just know how to infuse humor into speeches. How do you recommend to those who find it difficult infusing humor when they speak?
Thank you so much for that, Toastmaster Kudus. Is it for prepared speech or a role like Toastmaster of the Day, GE, or you mean generally?
I mean, generally.
Generally, I would say expose yourself to people that are funny. Watch more shows that are funny. Watch more speakers that are funny. Think about it. Now, people that say they are not funny, I think one of the reasons is they've not thought about being funny and how to be funny. Humor, like anything else, you learn to do it the same way you learn to other things. We learn to walk by attempting it, falling. Depending on who you are, most of us will fall a lot. Few people, they don't fall much. They just walk. Like my daughter. My son fell a lot. My daughter one day, I don't know, she's been studying with her eyes. She just stood up and started walking. There are people like that. People are different. But for most of us, you want to do it and you should attempt doing it. Now, I say don't attempt the things that are too radical. Try the small things, especially, and this is something that I love when it comes to the Toastmasters environment. Something that was already funny, use it again. You are allowed to steal things that you've seen that were funny. Somebody said something in their speech. As you're anchoring the session, you mention what they said. People laugh again. You know it works because they laughed previously. I just borrowed something from someone else. It is part of learning how to be funny. So study funny people and then start looking for opportunities to infuse those things. Your brain is going to be trained on how to find opportunities to do it. The brain is incredible. When you start looking for things, you find it. The problem is most of us just say, I am not funny. You've just told your brain, don't even bother looking for the opportunities. So it doesn't. But when you say, you know what, I can actually be funny, and you start learning, you see more opportunities to infuse humor. You just have to believe and then put in the work. Your brain will do the rest. And it's remarkable. The world has ample opportunities to do that. Does that help, Toastmaster Kudus?
Yes, thank you very much.
Very much welcome. Now, I think Toastmaster Lazarus, you had your hand up before. I don't know if someone put it down or if you don't have anything anymore. Did you still want to ask a question?
Yes, I want to ask a question, but
Okay,
it's
please
not
go ahead.
related to. Good evening, everyone.
Good
It's
evening.
not related to the roles you covered today.
Absolutely.
Don't know
We're
if you
done for today. Go ahead.
Okay. So it's regarding speech evaluators role. I joined Toastmasters in June, and when I understood how everything works, I gave myself a timeline to finish level 1 by the end of this year. And today I gave my 5th speech for that level 1. So to complete it, I need to act as an evaluator. Now I'm looking for perhaps guidance on what to do when I'm playing this role.
Thank you so much for that, Toastmaster Lazarus. First, let me say congratulations. I hope you are seeing the virtual applauses in the room. It's good to give yourself targets. This is how we grow. And I'm glad that you've reached the point where you're just about to finish it. Let me ask, have you gone through the materials on Basecamp for this particular speech?
Yes.
Fantastic. All right. So to buttress what you've gone through, first, you need to know that minimum of 2 things the evaluator is trying to achieve when they come to give evaluation. The first one, by the time your evaluation is done, the speaker should want to speak again. And the second one, by the time your evaluation is done, the speaker should want to speak again, but be better when they speak. It means there are certain things you should think about when delivering your evaluation. What are some of these things? You need to know who the speaker is. Whenever you're evaluating, if you don't know who the speaker is, you can give an evaluation that might crush them. What do I mean by this? Not everyone is at a stage where they can get constructive evaluation in front of a large group of people. Some of us, when you tell us that I observed that you did this, you can improve it this way, I observed you did this, we start to pull back, and many things that were said in the past start getting at us. It's not the evaluation, it's just the way we respond to it based on our past experiences, which means you need to know, am I the person that can take that, or am I the person that will find it challenging to take that? As an evaluator, depending on the individual, you may have to either reduce the amount of recommendations, or you can increase the number of recommendations if time permits, based on how many commendations you have as well. Remember, when you're evaluating a speech, you have 2 to 3 minutes. And our way of evaluating is commend, recommend, commend. You know the speaker, if they can't handle it, maybe focus on one major area of recommendation. If they can, 2, 3, that's fine. You look for areas to commend, maybe give 2, end with commendations again, maybe 2. We have 2 to 3 minutes. There's only so much you can infuse into 2 to 3 minutes. You need to get the evaluation slip before the speech and go through it. What is the objective of the speech? You are going to say this before the speaker comes up to deliver their speech. You need to be familiar with it. That is the primary objective that you want them to achieve. You pay attention to this as the evaluator. What else should you do? Please reach out to the speaker. Find out if there's anything else that they want you to watch out for as the evaluator, because we're all here to improve. There might be one specific area they are working on, and even though there's a different objective, they still want you to pay attention to that one area. Also pay attention to that and give them feedback. When they're delivering their speech, pay attention to all the elements of speeches. There are things you've worked on before this 5th speech. You're paying attention to all those aspects, the structure, vocal variety, body language, anything that you consider a good speech. You also pay attention to their passion. How are they displaying emotions to the audience? Did they give time to pause so that we can accept, we can digest, we can catch up to what they've said? Did they prepare us for something important that we're going to say? You pay attention to all the elements that you are ready to pay attention to. Depending on where you are, you might not be able to catch certain things, and that's perfectly okay. You are learning how to evaluate. Write all these things down. By the time they are done, you can now structure your speech. Brief intro. The intro can be anything. Let's give the speaker an applause. Did you enjoy their speech? They met the objectives, anything. Then you start with your commendations. You start with your areas of recommendation, areas of improvement, and finally end with commendations and a brief conclusion. I look forward to your next speech. You end with a quote. Up to you. Once you do that, you are done. After that is done, from the stage, from the lectern, from the virtual screen, you have to fill the evaluation slip. Perhaps you've done that earlier, depending on how fast you are, how you operate. If you didn't, you need to do it afterwards and give it back to the speaker if it's a physical thing, or send it if it's something that is virtual. Once that is done, your job as the evaluator officially over. Before, during, and after, please ensure that you cover all those aspects to properly evaluate. Remember, these two things should happen. The speaker should want to speak again when you're done with your evaluation, and the speaker should want to speak again, but they'll speak again being better. Why? Because of the feedback you gave. Note, when you give feedback without recommendations, that's fine as well. Many of us do not believe the positive feedback we've been getting. We tend to say, oh, no, that's not true. You're just being nice, which is not good, by the way. And if people are lying to you too, please let's stop the lying. That's not good as well. It doesn't help anyone. But giving them just positive feedback, it's a good thing. It helps us grow. When we're reminded of our strengths, what we're doing well, it's a prompt for us to do more. So don't feel, oh, I couldn't pick any area of improvement. Just reminding people of what they are good at. It's a good one. It's not a waste of time. It's not a waste of evaluation. Does that help, Toastmaster Lazarus?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Please do not put too much pressure on yourself, some level of perfection or comparing yourself to someone else. You're at a different stage. The best you can do now is the best you should do now, and keep growing. You'll be fine. Adams, I don't know if you are Toastmaster yet or if you're still a guest. Please go ahead.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yes, I'm not a Toastmaster yet, I'm a guest. So my question is, how can one train oneself to be good at delivering impromptu speeches?
Thank you so much for that. Some of the ways to do that: practice, practice, practice. Randomly get topics, practice. Attend Toastmasters meetings, volunteers for table topics, practice it. There are many ways to just speak without knowing the topics in advance. There are things that you can do in the morning, things you can do during the day, conversations you can have with people, get in touch with them, and speak to them. All these things will help. There are many things, really, if you think about it. I know we had a discussion last time too about the workbook. There are things in the workbook that will assist you with that as well. But I know you already attend meetings. Whenever you attend, just volunteer to speak those table topics. If you want the workbook, reach out again, get it. But yes, attending meetings and volunteering. Every time you come to the meeting, just volunteer, Adam. Speak table topics.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Do we have any?
You're muted.
Oh, my apologies. Thank you so much. I was saying that for those of us just joining, we are done. This training is from 9 to 9:30. Right now, people are asking questions on things outside of Toastmaster of the Day and General Evaluator. So if you joined to listen to those two roles, I apologize, you missed it. However, it was recorded and the recording can be accessed. Toastmaster Kudus, please go ahead.
And thank you very much, John. So many times, especially in virtual meetings, the Toastmaster of the Day will just have issues with his or her network. In those cases, in some meetings, we don't even know who's supposed to step in. Or at times, General Evaluator will not be the one to step in. It may be the Vice President Education, it may be the any other person that will step in after a long time of silence. So who in that case is supposed to actually who should step in? Is there someone? Is it the VP or is it the president that's supposed to step in at that point?
Toastmaster, thank you for that question. Lovely question. This happens regularly. We know the situation with network. Often someone will have network issues. And if you happen to be somebody like the Toastmaster of the day, if your network is interrupted, who should step in, excuse me. I think it depends on who you have discussed with. There should be some type of discussion on who steps in when the Toastmaster of the day is not available. It can be the General Evaluator, if that's the agreement in advance. If I'm playing the role of General Evaluator and the Toastmaster of the day is not available because of network, I will step in. Because I come in, if I'm playing either Toastmaster of the day or GE, I come in with the mindset that if the other person has network issues, I'm going to step in. However, sometimes the VPE steps in, sometimes the president steps in. It should be something that is agreed upon in advance. If this role, the player has network issues, please can you step in? And vice versa. If for your role you have network issues, the Toastmaster of the day can step in. So based on agreement, but outside of that, usually I just say the GE can step in. They are the ones leading another team, they can easily step in. Based on agreement, that's the best thing. Just agree in advance who is going to take control. It makes it easier so people are not just silent, wondering who is going to do it, who is going to do it. By the way, when there's an issue, if you are playing Toastmaster of the day, I highly encourage you to do this. I had a meeting 2 weeks ago, and one of the role players was confused about what to do. So she moved to another role player and was asking. She was already in front of the lectern, in front of the room. And she now walked to another role player to ask, please, what do I do here? I was playing the role of Toastmaster of the day. So I stepped up and I explained to the audience, for our guests, everyone here is learning how to speak, how to play their roles. As you can see, we have not perfected it. We still miss some things. This is the right place to learn how to do things. I step up and say those things so that it does not become awkward for the people that are trying to fine-tune things that maybe they should have done in advance, as well as those in the room. Because sometimes the way we invite guests, we give them the impression that we are perfect speakers, we are really good. We don't let them know that we are here to improve, just like you, and you should join us. The Toastmaster of the day can come and with a few words, just alleviate the situation. Make it almost seamless, and in fact, almost preferable that it happen, so that the guests say, oh, okay, they're not perfect. I can join and improve, because I also will be scared. I won't know what to do. Toastmaster of the day, if you're playing that role, you can step in occasionally to help take care of issues like that. Afterwards, you can speak to the role players and ask that what happened, didn't they do their research before? That's different. But when things are going on at the meeting, please, your job is to make it seamless, to provide that conducive environment for everyone to learn and grow. Use your words to do that. I just felt I should say that. Toastmaster Kudus, please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Sorry, my hand keep coming up. So another challenging one, and I think is the most challenging one actually, is when the table topics master drops off during the call. For general, if general evaluator drops off, you know that it's just for you to introduce the and not do all those things, which is quite easier. But when the table topics master, who has already set up questions, drops off, is now left to the Toastmaster to start coming up with questions. What do you advise that Toastmaster of the day should have prepared ahead? Is the Toastmaster of the day required to have prepared some questions ahead or something to fill that space if that happens, which we know that it is actually rare for it to happen and something that someone can easily miss and not to prepare for?
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Kudus. I don't know if it's AI that continues to put your hands up since you said that it continues coming up. That was a brilliant question. I think we don't often process that. It has happened before in a meeting that I was playing Toastmaster of the day and I had to come up with questions. It will be beneficial if the Toastmaster of the day goes the extra mile of preparing a few table topics questions as well. What I did that day, I had to quickly think of one question to ask. And while that speaker was answering the questions, I could easily search and come up with other questions. But it can leave you flustered. It would be good, even though we don't think about this. And I'm glad you asked this, because some of us here might play the role of Toastmaster of the day soon. And the network of our table topics master might not be cooperating. So this might assist. It'll be good that we just have some questions available. And it's easier now. We have AI. So just prompt AI. This is the theme. Come up with 10 questions for me. Quickly make them short. It's easy for anyone to answer. It'll be good that the Toastmaster of the day does that. That's a nice way to be thoroughly prepared. I think most of us do not go to that length to prepare for a meeting, but I commend someone that does that. And I recommend that we do that. At least have maybe 2 or 3 questions that will alleviate the pain if it does happen. You can look for other questions or prepare other questions while speakers are answering the question you gave them. Thank you so much for that, Toastmaster Kudus. I'm also processing. I've never actually done that before. I had to do that at the meeting, but I don't do it in advance. And now that you said that, I'm playing the role of Toastmaster of the day tomorrow. I should probably come up with some table topics question today before that meeting. Thank you for that. Does anyone else have a question? I don't see any hands up and I don't see. Oh, wait, there was a question. Yes, in the chat. Toastmaster Rakia has a question. Let me see. She's still in the room. Toastmaster Rakia, are you still here? Or oh, I think she has left. Okay, just in case this is useful to anyone, when is a Toastmaster qualified to play a GE role? For those of you that were here, I dropped the checklist for the General Evaluator. Usually, I would not recommend that you play GE role early because most people will not be familiar with what it takes to have a good meeting. However, if you're one that you have the propensity to learn and grow, you can go through the checklist, you can go online and search what a good meeting looks like so that you can start learning what you can recommend if the meetings don't go well, what you should watch out for. This takes learning. If you don't want to do that, then you need to attend a number of meetings till you feel, you know what, I'm comfortable enough to say, this is good, this can be improved upon. Then you can play the role of General Evaluator. But with the information we have, if you go and study it, you can play it very soon, very, very soon. It really depends on you. Are you one that wants to go and do your research so you know, I'm watching out for these things? Good, can be improved upon, good can be improved upon. Or you just want to attend meetings and let the meetings familiarize you with the standards over time. It really depends on you. Fortunately, she's no longer in the meeting, but she asked that question. Let's see. Is anyone available tomorrow at 11 a.m. physical meeting, VI, INLAX to be specific, Lighthouse Toastmasters Club? They need Toastmaster of the Day and General Evaluator. Unfortunately, I will be playing the role of Toastmaster of the Day at a different club at that time, so I cannot be there myself. If anyone is available, please reach out to Toastmaster Michael. Physical meeting in VI, Lagos State. Those of you outside Lagos, unless you want to fly in, which is feasible, you can go and attend to it. Please reach out to Toastmaster Michael. They are still looking for people. Any other questions? Any other comments? You can raise your hand or you can send the message to the chat and we'll attend to them. Okay, I don't see any hands and I don't see any questions or comments in the chat box, okay? Speech evaluators are also needed. And Toastmaster Michael can take care of flight logistics for those of you outside Lagos. So you can come and play the role of Toastmaster of the Day, General Evaluator, and Speech Evaluator. Oh yes, Toastmaster Inimfon, he just said they'll handle the flight fare. You didn't read that message. Yeah, he said, and I quote, speech evaluators too, we can take care of flight logistics outside Lagos. So yes, your flight logistics be paid for. No issue there. So reach out, talk to Toastmaster Michael. I don't see any other hands, no comments, no questions. Thank you all for being here. We are going to be back next week, Friday. I think that will be the last time for this year, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, next week, Friday. No, we have two more Fridays before we're done for the year, and it's going to enjoy yourself. Thank you so much for joining. Those that joined early enough to listen to the role of Toastmaster of the Day and GE, I challenge you once again, please play these roles. The information you have is not for head knowledge, it's to be applied. You learn fully by applying what you've learned. You master by applying repeatedly until it becomes a part of you. Please do it. We'll be back next week to take care of two roles. If you're not part of the Role Player WhatsApp group, please go ahead and join the group if you want to know the roles we play early, because they vote in that group for the roles we're going to cover on Fridays. Okay, let's see. Toastmaster Michael, do you have icebreaker speech? I would love to evaluate that. Okay, Toastmaster Lazarus, I would love to evaluate icebreaker speech. Toastmaster, oh, thank you so much, Toastmaster Inimfon. It's my pleasure. I'm learning as I'm teaching, and I'm learning as people are asking questions and sharing comments. Thank you everyone for joining. Enjoy the rest of your nights, enjoy the rest of your weekends, and